So today I have a long-awaited video that I've been meaning to film. Someone actually requested this, and I actually think I never thought about doing this type of video, but I actually think it's going to be incredibly helpful to people who have maybe never are going to have their first child, or are pregnant, or maybe are struggling right now. So I'm going to be doing a breastfeeding positions video today. If you guys haven't seen my original breastfeeding journey video, go check it out. What are you staring at? If you guys haven't seen my original breastfeeding journey video, go check that video out. I'll leave a link in the description box. Basically, that video, I just kind of talked about my entire journey. If you guys have watched that video, you know I did struggle a lot with breastfeeding. I am still breastfeeding her though, and we are now, she's just turned 6 months last week, so we're still going strong with the breastfeeding. I still don't supply enough, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I've done everything. Like I said, go check out the other video if you guys want to like hear more about that and in depth, and also get like some tips and advice, or just listen to my story to maybe, I guess, learn from my mistakes, which I did talk about a lot of that in there. So like I said though, just go check out that video if you guys want to hear a more in-depth I guess description or story on my breastfeeding journey. And you guys, I do give you guys a little bit of advice in that video and talk to you guys about what I would do differently, so you could always still learn from that video. And yeah, but this video is going to be on my breastfeeding or on breastfeeding positions. Now, I've tried pretty much every breastfeeding position there is, and I'm not kidding. Part of what I did when I was trying to figure out my journey and trying to figure out my breastfeeding situation and what I wanted to do, and how I was going to make it work, was trying out so many different positions to see if I was going to even be able to continue to breastfeed. I tried everything to try to make it as comfortable for me and Mia as possible. So today I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be inserting clips of me demonstrating how I would breastfeed in certain positions that I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm going to tell you guys which ones I think are the easiest and which stage or age I think that they're easiest at. So I just kind of want to go over that and tell you guys my experience with that, because like I said, I have tried them all. And yeah, so at the end of the day though, I do just want to like throw this out there that do whatever is comfortable for you. Everyone is so different. You guys will hear throughout the video, what I think is most comfortable is not necessarily what is most comfortable for a lot of people. So just do whatever is comfortable for you. This video is just an informative video to show you guys how I would do it. Like, I'm not a professional, okay? I'm not a professional at all. You guys can probably hear me in the background. Matt has it right now, but I'm not a professional at all. I'm just saying from my experience, I did go to 8 lactation consultant appointments. So she did teach me a lot. I'm just gonna walk you guys through all the positions, demonstrate them, and give you guys a little bit of my personal experience with them. Once again, everyone's gonna be so different, so take this with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to give you the information that I have, and it, like, I guess express to you guys how it worked for me and how it didn't work for me. It's just an informative video. Like I said, like, this is not a science. Like, so many people probably would disagree with me, other mothers, and that's completely fine. It's just down to personal preference and what is most comfortable for you and your baby, and what your baby doesn't like or does like. It's honestly also a lot down to the baby, and how your breastfeeding journey goes. If it's super easy, some of these may be easier for you. If it's hard, some of these may be harder for you. It just kind of depends. So the first breastfeeding position I'm gonna start with is the football hold. Now, the reason I'm starting with the football hold is because this is the hold I think is the easiest personally for a really little newborn. I personally think that for the first couple of weeks at least, maybe to a month, the football hold is incredibly comfortable. Because when they're that little, they kind of just cup under your arm really well, and you can just kind of cradle them up really nicely. And the baby would be here, by the way. I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to insert a clip, but your baby would be here, and you can just cup them, and their head fits perfectly. It's just in your hand, on a pillow, and everything like that. Now, this is the hold that the lactation consultant in the hospital showed me how to nurse for the first time. Now, my biggest biggest tip I can give you guys, and this is the one that I regret doing: if you are not comfortable with breastfeeding, if you have never breastfed before, and you don't, even if you, okay, if you don't have help around you, but even if you do, because I had a lot of moms with plenty of breastfeeding experience around me, I just personally felt ashamed and embarrassed that I wasn't getting it down, because everyone around me looked like they did, like it was easy breezy and it was so successful for them. So I felt bad, so I didn't reach out. First of all, number one thing, ask for help to anyone. Go to lactation consultants. Like I said, I went to 8 lactation consultants through her pediatrician, and I mean, we did it. We tried everything. So I made it work. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, and I tried really, really hard because this is something I really wanted to do. So please don't give up. Ask for help. But back to my biggest tip would be to not only ask for help, but when you're in the hospital, ask them to show you how to do multiple different nursing positions. And the reason I'm saying this is because I did not do that. She only taught me the football hold, and that's what I went home doing. And a couple weeks in, I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. So my biggest tip is to ask when you're in the hospital for the lactation consultant to show you more than one position to breastfeed, so that you can kind of pick the one that is most comfortable to you. They may have their own opinions, and they may try to tell you they think that this position is the easiest, and that's completely fine, and you can respect their opinions. I like to make my own decisions on that, and I would like for you to please show me some different holds. They're there to help you, and they don't mind. You just have to be like a little stern, and more stern than I was. So like I said, the football hold is really good, I think, for newborns. The inconveniences of the football hold are that it is not comfortable when you're going out in public. I think that is the biggest thing for me, is that it was just going out in public, going to a family member's house, going really anywhere. If that's the only position that you know your baby knows and that you do, it's incredibly difficult to do it anywhere besides the comfort of your home. So just keep that in mind if that is the position you're going to want to do. I think, like I said, for the first few weeks, it's okay, especially if you're going to be home, you know, for like the first month maybe. Awesome, try it out, see if you love it, because you're going to be in the comfort of your own home. You'll have all of the stuff that you need at your house, hopefully set up, ready for you to go, so that it is super comfortable for you. So that's on that. That's the football hold. Okay, so this is the football hold. Like I said, she's like too big for this now. Like this, I don't think this works if they get too big. And to reference, she's 15 pounds. So like I said, though, she has 6 months, but I did this at the very beginning, and I don't think, for me personally, it didn't work past like the first couple of weeks. With this one, you want to make sure your back is super supported, and whatever side they're on, you just kind of you like kind of tuck them up under your arm like this, and you basically would just put your boob in their mouth. That's how the cross cradle, or how the football hold works. It's super simple, but it works best. Like I said, you need to have a pillow under them, have a pillow under them, have a pillow behind your back. Make sure your back is straight, have a pillow here, and then just kind of take your baby and like cradle them up into your arm and tuck them into you really tightly. Hold their head with support and nurse them. This, you really, especially like I said, this is for, I think really good for like newborns. So you really want to make sure that you're cradling their head really well, to make sure that you're supporting it really well, so that they don't, obviously, like, you know, their neck feels comfortable and supported, because if not, they will probably have a hard time nursing. So that is the football hold. That is the football hold, and now we're going to go on to the cross cradle hold. Now this hold is the hold that I personally find the most comfortable for me, like in my own environment. When I'm at home, the cross cradle hold is what I do. I personally think it is the most comfortable for me and the baby. I have a free hand. It's really comfortable for me. Now for me personally, when I'm nursing, I have to have at least one hand on my boob. This might be TMI. I don't know if it's because my boobs are so big, but like I constantly feel like they're in her face. The lactation consultant at the hospital told me not to worry about it, and told me that they're smart enough to know when to pull away, which is like totally cool if you're comfortable and down for that. I'm not. I just feel like she would be pulling away every 2 seconds to take a breath of air. So excuse me. So do whatever's comfortable for you. So with the cross cradle hold, I always have whatever hand is not supporting either my boob or her head, I have free, which is really nice, so that I can either be working, doing my schoolwork on the computer, or, you know, using my phone or whatever I need to be doing, reading a book, whatever it is that you do while you're nursing. So the cross cradle hold, I personally think is really good for a lot of ages. So from newborn, I do think it would be comfortable and up. I'm personally only at 6 months, like I said, so I don't know how it will be as she gets like really like a lot bigger, like 1 year, which I'm hoping I'm still breastfeeding at that point. I'm not sure how it works that high of age. If any of you other moms have any tips on that or experience, please leave it in the comments so that other people can scroll through and see. But I personally just feel like it's really comfortable. Like I said, you have a hand free. You could possibly have both hands free if you don't need to support your boob. The other thing with a cross cradle hold though is it's really hard to do without a boppy or my breast friend. If you guys have one of those, that's the one that kind of hooks around you and is flatter. I have a boppy. I know a lot of people talk about the my breast friend and say that that one's better and they prefer that one over the boppy. Whatever you have, whatever you're comfortable with, this one is really difficult to do without the boppy. So I love the cross cradle hold. It's my favorite. It's the one that I do the most often when I'm home. And I will once again throw in a little demonstration after in the next little clip, so you guys can see how I do the cross cradle hold at home. And yeah. Okay, so this position is the cross cradle hold. I'm just on the floor with a boppy. Now, once again, you're gonna wanna be in a really comfortable position. I'm doing this on the floor. You should be up against a surface that is straight with a pillow, preferably behind your back to support your back, because you're gonna be, if you do only exclusively nurse, you will be doing this a lot and it will take up majority of your time, and you will need support on your back so that you don't get hurt. So hand me my baby. Now she's not actually gonna nurse right now. Hi. So this is Mia. If you did not know, she's gonna be my little helper today with these positions, but she may not nurse right now. She just woke up from a nap. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have it tilted down to where she can you guys can see mainly her. So as you guys can see in this position, the baby should be on their side, not on their back. If they're on their back and their head is turned to try to nurse, it's not going to work. It's just uncomfortable for them. It will work sometimes, but it's just really uncomfortable. Imagine you as an adult laying on your back and like to have your head tilted to the side, like trying to like eat something or drink. It would be really uncomfortable. So to make it more comfortable, make sure they are flipped to their side and their stomach is on your stomach. That's really important to make sure it's comfortable for them. And as you can see, she's nursing. She has a supportive pillow, and my arm is supporting my breast, and then I have this one free. And this is how you cross cradle hold. Another way to do this is to have this arm supporting their head if you don't have a boppy, but I don't do that because I do have the boppy. It supports her. This works perfectly for me, but this is the cross cradle position. The next position is, I think, the most frequently used, the most that I guess recognized and seen. And if you've seen someone breastfeeding in public, or you know, family members or whatever, watched YouTube videos even, you probably have seen the cradle hold the most. The cradle hold is where you're literally just cradling them in your arm and they are just nursing. It is I guess like the most simple of the holds. With this one, you have whatever hand, once again, free that you're not using to like hold them with. And this one for me, I have just started to be able to really get the hang of. I'm gonna be honest, at first, I don't know what it was. We did have latch problems at first. If you guys know, she had tongue tie and all this other stuff. Like I said, watch the video if you guys wanna hear the story about that and go into depth. But I don't know if it was because of that or what it was, but we could not get the cradle hold down at all. She could not latch, and she couldn't stay latched in the cradle hold for the first like 4 months of her life. I have just started doing that when I go out. If I don't have the boppy, like I said, the cross cradle hold that I prefer to do at home is incredibly difficult for me to do out if I don't have a boppy or a pillow, because just the way that I support her is just weird, because I have to have, like, it's weird. Anyways, so I have just started now at about 5 months doing the cradle hold when I'm just around the house or on the bed, or like if she needs to nurse and we're out in public, or wherever I just basically don't have my entire setup to do the cross cradle hold, I will do the cradle hold. I think that this is incredibly comfortable for the baby as well, because obviously you're cradling your baby, and that's where they're the most secure and safe feeling and comfortable. So this one is incredibly popular, and it is also probably the most easiest and universal, I guess, position, because you can do it anywhere. You don't need a pillow for it. You don't need really like any extra support, because you're the support for your baby. You're not worried about, you know, oh, well, I usually do it like this at home with a boppy and this and that and whatever. You don't need all that. Like with the cradle holds, it is incredibly just like straightforward to the point. You're cradling your baby and they're nursing. So this is probably the one that most women choose, probably because of the convenience of it. Like I said, you don't have to you know, I guess have any pillows or anything with you, so it's pretty easy to do. I think that the cradle hold is also really good for, once again, like newborn and up. You can do this one whenever. Like I said, if you can't get a hang of it when they're really little, just try again when they get a little bit older, and it may work out for you. The only other thing I'm going to say about the cradle hold is, once again, I don't know if it's just for my big booby girls, but I don't have any hands when I do this hold, and that is why I choose to do this only when I'm out in public. I don't do it at home a lot, because a lot of the times when she's nursing at home, I'm in front of my computer doing schoolwork. But the when I'm holding her with this arm, let's just say, I have to have my other hand on my boob, like supporting it and keeping it from suffocating her, like I just said. So that's just personally for me. Like, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but this is like once again, it's my breastfeeding journey. I already said I'm not a professional, but that's just that's my experience with it. And I don't want to say it makes it more difficult. It's just more of like, I can't do anything else. Like I can't like multitask while breastfeeding her, but I do it in public, and it is comfortable now, and she seems to like it as well. So yeah. The cradle position, you would be cradling them just like this. Once again, their body needs to be sideways towards you and on you to help them. And obviously in this position, you would just basically just like, once again, bring them to your boob and have them nursing. I typically, like I said, like hold my boob. It just depends on whatever your situation is. If you don't need to do that, more power to you. I wish I had a hand free, but in this one, like I said, I have to use both my hands. But this is the most comfortable position for me when I'm out in public, because obviously I don't need a pillow or anything. She's getting irritated. So that is the cradle position. Just make sure that pretty much in all the positions where they're on their side, that they are sideways on you and they're not on their backs, because it just makes it really hard for them. It's so asleep. The next position I'm going to talk about is kind of like two positions in one, or you can kind of do it one way or the other. So I tried this with my lactation consultant when I was going like all the time, and she was about at this point 1 to 2 months old when I was trying this though, so I was still really struggling with positioning. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me. Besides the cross cradle, that's the only thing I could do. But the laid back, or like where your baby's sitting up, I'm not exactly sure what that one is, like the technical term for that is called, but I think it's just like basically the laid back. But you can, or reclining, I guess, reclining breastfeeding. So this is a position where the laid back or reclining is where you are basically just like leaning back. You aren't laying down backwards or anything like completely flat, but you're just kind of like, you know, you're reclined, like you're in a recliner. And how far you go, how far you're leaning back is totally up to you. And This is basically like a sitting position for the baby, or not sitting when they're really little, but like right now how I would do it with her just sitting on my lap, like sitting on my lap and just like literally her facing towards me and just like nursing her like that, except you're laid back. And when they're really little, their kind of like bodies just like kind of are like right here, their head is here, and then their bodies just go down like that. This position for me personally, the laid back one, doesn't work. I didn't like it. Mia didn't like it. I think she felt like she was like about to fall or something. It didn't work for me. I'm just gonna be honest. This does work for some people though. My lactation consultant said a lot of her clients like it if they're having a hard time breastfeeding. For me personally though, like I said, it's not my personal favorite, but to each their own. But this one is, I think, good for skin on skin, and is good for you know, if you're maybe just like sitting on your bed but you don't want to be completely back, or if you're like in a recliner, you can easily do this and it's comfortable, and then like you get a little bit of like back support, more back support than what you would be getting just sitting straight up and nursing. So I don't really know much about these. The sitting one, the only thing I can say about that is that it's really easy and convenient. I will literally just have her like sit on me right now, like she's 6 months old, and when it gets to the point where she sits up, and sometimes I'll just like literally just like put my boob in her mouth and she's good to go. And yeah, that one we don't do as often, but it is one that I do if like she's really fussy and I just like need to like, you know, get her to just like relax for a minute and nurse for like a little bit. But I know she doesn't need a nursing session really. It's just more of like to get her to like calm down and get some comfort. That's what I'll do, and we just started doing that at 6 months when she can sit up on her own. Okay, also sorry if the lighting's going in and out, like the sun keeps going in and out. I'm using natural lighting, so it is what it is. So in the sitting position, your baby would be sitting just like this, and you would literally just take your boob and put it in their mouth. It's as simple as that. She will not cooperate. I've tried every position. The only one that she actually wanted to sit down in was and nurse for a minute was the cross cradle. That, like I told you guys, that's what we do most often. But this one you would just literally go like this. I have done that before if she's really like irritated and needs to nurse, like I said, just to kind of calm her down and get her to stop fussing. It works really well. So the very last position I'm going to talk about is the side laying position, or the laying down position. This is where the mom is laying down, usually on the bed, and the baby is just kind of cradled up to them and nursing. So this one can be hands-free, or once again, if you have the same situation as me, no matter what position I'm in, I've like said this a million times in this video, I have to support my boob. By the way, if you guys have any tips, like am I doing something wrong, or is it just because they're so big? I don't really know. But that one is, the side laying position is really good for if you are a co-sleeper, or if, for instance, just during the day you want to take a nap, or if you just want to lay on the bed and be comfortable and lay down because you're exhausted and a mom and a new mom and whatever, this one is good for that. I use this one at night because we do co-sleep, and it is such a lifesaver. For the first 4 months of her life, I did not use the side laying position. I would get up, sit up, put the boppy on, do the cross cradle hold, whatever, bam, there we go. That's how I nursed her for the first 4 months. Like all through the night, that's what I did. It is exhausting and it's tiring, but a lot of moms do it and it is what it is. I didn't really mind doing it. It's just now that I have done the laying down, like side laying position, it is so much easier to do that than having to sit up and get comfortable and adjust it. It's quicker too. I'm just gonna be like very honest, like when you have to, like your baby's hungry in the middle of the night and they're crying because they want to nurse, and you're taking, you know, you have to wake up first of all to fully get awake, to like sit yourself up and be coherent and in the moment and awake and aware of what's going on around you, and like get your boppy settled and everything, and then grab your baby and put your baby, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot, and it takes a few minutes, and your baby probably ends up like screaming by the time you get to like the position to nursing them, and you don't really ever really want that. That's what I love for that, this position. You can just literally just like quickly like cradle them up to you and get them to nurse. And it is so comfortable because obviously you're laying down, you are on your side, and yeah, you just nurse them. So one last thing about the side laying position is that this is really good for, once again, I don't know how it would work with newborns. I'm just gonna be honest, just because they're so little. I think it would work maybe, but I think it would be a little bit harder because they would have to have a little bit of support from you to just help them, you know, staying in the position that you need them to nurse. Like I said, Mia's a little bit older and she's at the point where she can put herself in her own position, and that's what she does, so it works. For a newborn, I don't know how this would work, but I think for maybe like 2 to 3 months and up, it starts to work, or maybe even after that, maybe 4 months. Once again, I'm not really sure because I didn't start the side laying position until 4 months, but 4 months is when I started it, and it has worked great ever since. But just kind of be the judge of that and what you and your baby can kind of work out. Okay, so this would be the side laying position. So at night, what I would typically do, like I said, is really good for co-sleeping, is she would actually typically roll over. Look, Mia, look at mama, look at mommy. She's not cooperating. She would basically just roll over. She would be, her side would be against me, her stomach to my stomach again, like just like in the cross cradle and cradle position, and she would be nursing on my boob. I would usually use the opposite hand, like this one. If she was doing this, I would use this to support my breast just to make sure she's not suffocating, and then I'd have this one free to do what I needed to do. And this one, like I said, is really comfortable for co-sleeping, or if you're just an exhausted mom, need to take a nap or whatever. This is actually a really comfortable position, and I can fully lay down or lay back or whatever and be comfortable doing this. Like I said, it's what I do in the middle of the night, and it really saves my sleep, doesn't it? And she naturally will turn towards me. Like as they get older, they will do that. So yeah. So that was the breastfeeding positions video. I hope that this was helpful and informative for you guys. I'm not a professional. I'm not claiming to be. This is just my experience and what I have tried and what works for me and what doesn't. And I tried to give you guys like where I did these positions, so you guys know, you know, how to kind of like maneuver. It is very common to like switch up your breastfeeding positions. That's what I do. I do the side laying one at night, the cross cradle typically throughout the day, the regular cradle when I'm out. I'll do the sitting up one sometimes, like every once in a while. Like I said, that one doesn't happen as often, but I'll do that sometimes too. So it really just depends, but I do kind of incorporate all these positions at some point. But like I said, for me personally, the cross cradle hold is the one that I use 90% of the time. So just kind of take this, like I said, with a grain of salt. Do what works for you. Try out all of these positions if you want to, and find out which one works for you. I have literally tried them all, I'm not kidding, and I know which ones work for me and which settings they work in and which settings they don't work in. So it's all about just kind of like, sorry, it got super bright now. Anyways, so it's all just kind of about trial and error and seeing what works for you, seeing what your baby likes. If your baby is not comfortable with the position, trust me, you will know. They either won't nurse or they'll pull away or whatever. They'll do like the flailing arm thing. They'll let you know. So just like I said, keep it in mind that this isn't like, you know, a guide on how you have to do it, and the age range that I gave you guys is just an estimation of what I worked out and what I worked through with Mia, and what worked best for us at what age. So once again, you can try these at really any age. Just make sure that you're doing it, I guess, correctly, whatever is comfortable for you and your baby. But that is it. If you guys have any other questions about breastfeeding, leave them in the description, or leave them in the description. If you guys have any other questions about breastfeeding, leave it in the comments below. I will try to get back to you. This is way too bright. Hold up. Oh my god, I just made it brighter. Okay, there we go. If you guys have any questions about breastfeeding, leave them in the comments below. I mentioned in my other video, breastfeeding has such a stigma around it, and it can be kind of negative, and it shouldn't be, because it's normal. We're feeding our babies and helping them get the nutrients they need, and you know, what they need to survive, basically, if you are the primary source, if you do just nurse and only nurse. And it's important. It keeps them healthy and happy, and as long as your baby's eating, it doesn't really matter what you do, whether you formula feed or nurse. But nursing should be more normalized because it's very looked at as taboo, and it's just kind of weird to me that that's a thing. But anyways, so spread love in the comments below and help each other out with your favorite positions and what you guys feel more comfortable, or little tips and tricks that you've learned along the way. Motherhood is very much trial and error. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, or want to know anything from me personally, just reach out to me. I think the easiest way to reach out to me is to go to my Instagram, which I'll have linked down below, and to message me on there, and I can get back to you on that. It would probably be the easiest way for me to see it. If you guys did have any questions or want some more advice on breastfeeding or anything like that, or even if you have tips or advice for me, then please let me know. By all means, I'm open to more advice. But anyways, I really hope you guys liked this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys have any other videos like this you want to see, just let me know and I will get to it. But I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.